Hello, folks. How's it going? Just thought I'd come and do the broadcast. I'm going to relax. You can see the reflection. Check, check, check. I hope the microphone's working. I'm going to have to ask folks because I don't usually plug in this microphone when I'm doing a live broadcast. It's usually not. So if anybody, no one's on yet, just hanging out on Saturday night with my Boston t-shirt. Ooh, wait a minute. Where is it? Can't see it. No, you can't see it. Wearing a Boston t-shirt. If anyone is out there, let me know if you can hear me because I've not tested this microphone with this phone before because I'm actually broadcasting with my phone. So if anyone wants to say, John, we can hear you, it's kind of important. But then again, you see my mouth moving. If you can't hear me, I'm thinking, I can hear you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to have to take my iPad because it's too small. Audio is good. I appreciate that. Thank you. How you doing? How's everyone doing Saturday night? I say happy hour. I'm not really drinking because I've got to record my radio show for Vancouver in about 2 hours, so I can't drink and do a radio show. That would be not professional, but you can. Here's the thing: go to town, have some fun. Everyone's always asking me about the reel to reels. Thank you. I appreciate it, Diane. Everyone's always asking me about the reel to reels. They do all work. Even the small little Sony one over here works. It's just not the best one, obviously. And then I've got this one over here, a TIAC A33SX. And then I've got the Studer. Oops, sorry, the Studer here, which is a Studer A807. It's a much sought after. But folks are always asking me, saying, hey, the reels are at the same position. You obviously are not using them, and not as much as I should be. No, not at all, actually, in the last few months, because we've been, hold on, there's a heater here. I'm in my basement. Can you hear it? The little Costco, you know the little Costco heaters? Um, that's what I got here. And it's quite old, and after a while, sometimes when I'm recording my radio show, all of a sudden it'll go off because the alarm goes off, you know, that, yeah, like you want to hear that right now. But anyway, I'm trying to take the cords away from, oh God, what tangled web we weave. Anyway, hi everybody. How's it going? Like those reel to reels, yeah. I always get asked about them, and people can see, especially the clock. That's a radio station I used to be the program director of, Cal 103. We were going to change it to Cal 103. Lean down though, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna see if I can read on my son's old iPad, which he gave me a little while ago. And here we go. So, well, I'm gonna see if I can check you guys out on here. Let me see. Just give me a sec. It'd be easier to read. Look at my big faces right there. There I go. Look, I just heard myself talk. So look at this is freaky. There I am, talking, looking at myself. So how's everybody doing? How's COVID handling or killing your town? We're in Alberta, Canada, and our premier is not into shutting anything down. And I know a lot of people have different views on that. Why are you buffering? I'm not oh, I should be. Oh no, am I buffering? It's not showing it here. I'm still working. I'm still. TIAC is awesome. Oh, here's all the. I'm seeing a lot more. My tapes get baked, but I don't. Welcome to the chat. Reminder: guard your privacy. Houston Associate Real Estate, being an essential worker, and being able to stay home. Pookie Martinez. How you doing? Am I saying it right? Buffering gone too. Oh, wow. I see in here. Hi, Irene. How are you? Irene. It was you, Irene, right on Facebook, who was posting that thing on someone who was working and working for having to quit her job because of the employees not really looking after their health, considering COVID-19. Yeah, in between doing interviews lately. Yes. Hi, Irene. In between doing interviews lately and trying to wrap up in the next 2, 3 weeks, you're going to see us release 3 videos a day because we've got to get through. Hello, Irene. We've got to get through the stuff that we have left over from this year. We have a new writer, Jason Close, Klose, who has written a lot of stuff for us for Rock History Book. You know, the 5 singers who died without fanfare, a video that's doing really well. He wrote that. He just wrote a piece on Hotel California. Their anniversary of Hotel California is coming up in a few days, the release, and he wrote a great piece for that. I have to put that together before the anniversary. I think it's the what's the date for Hotel California? Is it the 8th? Oh, I think it's the 8th, the John Lennon Day. Yeah, when John Lennon passed away. Anyway, Richard Fiore. No, we're done with Richie. That's done. That's why I released 2 days apart. Because of what we just wanted to get. Sorry, I don't want to make too much noise here with this microphone. We wanted to get that just sort of, I want to complete files before the end of the year, and that's kind of where we're going. Again, I want to point out, some people have said, why don't you release your top 10s on rock history music? Listen, I regret it now, but I've gone too far. That I wanted a channel just for top 10s and whole interviews. And that's why I created Rock History Book, which is a channel that I've been working with for a lot of different years. Rock History Book used to be a 60-minute show, snippet, aired on a few U.S. stations, but mostly Canadian stations, where it was the history of rock and roll in 60 seconds. That was the slogan for the show. So the term Rock History Book goes back to the 80s, and then it turned into a book I was going to write based on the interviews I've done. And then I thought, I don't know. I wasn't sure what to do with it. It certainly would be an arduous task to put it together, but I still might do it with the help of some of the people that I'm working with now. So that's good. I'm not seeing any comments, and obviously you guys are commenting. Oh yeah. So that's where Rock History Book is, and so we have a separate channel named Rock History Book. That's just for the long form interviews. I just put the Randy Meisner one together today, which is a long interview. I had to take some stuff out where he wanted me to. It's not a big deal. But he asked me to, so I did. Right? Yeah, that's the way it goes. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Shannon says, "What, you're doing a broadcast?" I don't know. Feel like I'd rather come on and talk to you guys than really edit a video right now. What's the most surprising interview you have ever done? Well, for me, I don't know. Surprising? That's a good question. I think John Anderson of Yes, but I'm mixing that up with joyful as well. A little help from my friends, LOL. Bill Bruford, because I got nervous. I never get nervous. And I'm not saying that because I'm flaunting the fact, but it's like you guys, anyone who's been doing a job for 37 years, if you're not good at it, you shouldn't be doing it. So I don't really get nervous. As you could tell, if you see my interviews, I'm just really comfortable talking to them. I never get scared. I never, I try to challenge them if it's appropriate, but Bill Bruford was a phoner, and and he was really nice, and at the end he said, "Okay, that's good. I've had enough of this now." But he didn't mean it in a bad way. He said, "I really enjoyed this. You seem like you really know your stuff," which is nice. But he was done with me. That was surprising because I got nervous. So if that makes any sense. The people who did the Toto show, if you've seen the Toto show, they want to know if any more virtual shows coming up. I just text Luke a few days ago, and hold on. Used to associate real estate. I bought a lot of music based on your interviews. Thank you, because I always listen to the old stuff. Oh, good. Thank you, Bruford. Yeah, the new compilation. The hardest interview was, you're going to laugh at this, but everyone likes this story, a band called Three Deep. Joshua Morrow from Young and the Restless. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he was in a band. And Eddie Cibrian, who's married to Leanne Rimes. Are they married? Did they actually get married? And a Canadian dude. And it's so unfair that I don't remember the Canadian guy. Someone might be able to look it up. Three Deep. And they formed this singing band, and they were, I'll get to your question in a second. And they were at the P&E in Vancouver. That's where I do my radio show, but I moved to Calgary because of autism and because we needed funding. So I'm still on the air in Vancouver every day, and have been since 1990. So they were doing a show at the P&E, Pacific National Exhibition. And I brought my son with me, and we went to do the interview, and they were just joking around with each other. Well, no, the Canadian guy wasn't doing it. Eddie Cibrian and Joshua Morrow were just nonstop, just joking, being like kooky fools. Here, I got to put this down. And at the middle of the interview, I've still got it. I actually found it a little while ago. I don't never throw away an interview, ever. I said, guys, we don't have to do this. You know, it wasn't my idea to do this interview. We're presenting this concert. I'm here in good faith. You know, we weren't live, but you know, if you don't want to do it, we don't have to do it. And so they just kept giggling. And finally I got up and I said, thanks for your time. Please take a picture with my son. They did. I'll have to show you that. My son's got it. I think it's on his Facebook. And we just left, and my son looks at me, and I don't know how old he was at the time, 13 or something. He's in his 30s now. And he said, our interview supposed to go that way? I went, no, because I never really brought my kids to the radio station with me, and that was the worst interview I ever did. And I've mentioned before, the April wine one, Miles Goodwin was really grumpy. We say munchy here, because when our autistic daughter gets mad and obsesses, we say munchy. It's just a word we invented concerning being grumpy. But Miles was drinking back then, and I have great respect for Miles Goodwin, and he was just in a bad mood. And he told me he was in a bad mood. He says, listen, I don't feel like doing this today, but you seem like you know a lot about the band, so let's just get it done. And I appreciated him. But I was kind of hurt by it, because it wouldn't bother me now. But looking back now, I got to find that interview. It's in this house someplace. And I won't air that part, because it could have been sharper than that. I don't think it was. And I've such respect for Miles Goodwin. April Wine's still my favorite Canadian band. I couldn't listen to them for a while after that, but everyone else was really nice. Look, they all signed. They signed. See, look at all those April Wine albums. They signed. Look at this. Miles Goodwin, Jerry Mercer, their main drummer for so many years, Brian Greenway, and Jim Klein, who's dead now. So they signed every one of their albums we gave away at the radio station. We did a whole special on April Wine. Anyway, April Wine. There you go. What are the questions? Luke has one at baked potato in December. I didn't know that. Anyway, I talked to Luke last week. I'm going to set up some interviews. Question, speaking of Toto, Steve Picaro was really engaging interview. Did he play a rough part in the recent split? I don't know. I think it's because, and I think it's because Jeff was his brother. I think, but I don't want to speak for him, you know. Okay, Pookie Martinez. Question, John, if you could interview a musician who has passed away, John Lennon. Oh yeah, John Lennon. You know, I listened to that last interview he did the day he died, and it's just ominous. I listened to the Berlin concert, the last one where John Bonham did with Zeppelin, and I get the same feeling of going, if you would have come up to John and said, this is your last show with Led Zeppelin, you know, I'd like to interview Elton John. I don't think I'll ever, and Paul McCartney, and of course all these people, but I don't think I'll ever get them. My friends are always saying, spend money on the channel, promote the channel, get it to 100,000 really quickly, you'll get better interviews. Now, we get a lot of really good interviews. I'm still dragging my feet on spending money. We're not spending money for hits. We're not buying hits. I refuse to do that. There are a few people who do what I do, who are in fact doing that because you can tell from their hits and their likes and dislikes that they don't make any sense. That's usually there's a quota. So, but that's okay if they want to do that. I mean, buying hits, it's not real people that are clicking on your videos, right? So I'm never going to do that on this channel. I have done it on another channel, on Aircom. I've done it on the Aircom channel, which I don't really do anything with anymore, for my earlier reviews. But I felt really weird about it, so I just stopped doing it. I think the James Taylor one, I might have spent like $10 on it. Something like that. In full disclosure. Okay. Never say never. Yeah, I know. I understand. Billy Reed, the artist pissed you off. No artist really pissed me off except the Three Deep guys. I was pissed off when with Joshua Morrow and Eddie Cibrian. I was pissed off with them. I remember thinking those guys are dicks. That's the only time. And even Miles Goodwin being grumpy, I didn't walk away from that. I thought he's probably hungover. I didn't walk away. I was a little hurt by what he said, but I was just more surprised. And looking back now, I can understand that I was more surprised because it's almost like when you meet one of your heroes, and Miles Goodwin is one of my heroes, it's almost like you expect him to know how much you care about him. And I was a little blinded by that. Now there's no artist that does that to me. You know, even John Anderson, I remember halfway through the interview, I'm going, oh God, I'm talking to John Anderson. You know, but it's like a carpenter. The first time he builds a house, he goes, wow, that's amazing. And he probably has a sense of satisfaction at the 300th house. It's like rediscovering your fridge one day. You go, hey, that's a nice fridge. But, you know, it's your job. You just do your job. Kim Mitchell interview. We're not finished Kim Mitchell, by the way. We've got 3 more parts to it. Hey, Lori. I don't know what that means. Lori, what's that mean? You Italian lady, you. Lori set me up with a few interviews. Eddie Money being one. Any Genesis interviews in plan? Steve Hackett next Tuesday. And it'll be the 5th or 6th time. I can't keep track. I think it's the 5th time I've interviewed Steve Hackett. Oh, my friend, cousin, brother, family. Oh, okay. Thanks, Lori. I like Lori because she's a no bull kind of gal. I like that about her. I hung out with, all my female best friends were always like that, of going, you know, I'd go to their place. They'd go, you going to wear that? No, you're not wearing that. We're going back to your house. You're not wearing that tonight, you know? And we'd just be friends, but it took me a long time to not be so precious that I could have someone say, oh God, you eat, like I've mentioned this story before. One of my ex-girlfriends, she was much younger than me. I shouldn't have been dating her. She was of age, but I think she was 18. I was 28, or no, she was 18 or 19. I forget, but you know, way too young for me. And we were eating supper one night and she looked at me. She says, you know, you eat salad with your mouth open. And I went, I do? What? I'm 28 years old. No one's ever told me that. So I appreciated that. After a while, I start going, do you want people just to say the right thing to you all the time, or do you want them to be honest, right? And that's kind of, so anyway, Lori's like that to me. Your thoughts on Lukather's new music? I like it a lot, As a guitarist, I like him more as a guitarist and a vocalist, but I love him as a vocalist. You know, I'm hoping to get Joe Williams. Luke told me last week, he says, listen, that's a great idea. I've had some promotional ideas for him on how we're going to have a countdown to the album. And he loved the idea, and he says, I'll send it to the team, and I'll get back to you. And he wished me a Merry Christmas, and thanks for all the support. And but yeah, well, we're trying to make that happen next week. I'm glad this microphone works. He's really raw, true to himself. Yeah. I tried to get Bruce Cockburn. I don't know how many of you guys know Bruce Cockburn. I was close to getting him. I almost had him when I was that California 103 station, The Clock. When I was programming, the program director of that station, I had a chance to interview Bruce, and I passed on it because I was too busy. I was running the station doing the morning show. Every interview, 3 Dog Night. Yeah, we've got a 3 Dog Night interview on this. Just look it up. Rock history book, Three Dog Night. That's the thing about old interviews, right? I can't assume that you guys will. Hi, John from Texas. Yeehaw, Chris. I can't assume that you guys will see the older interviews on there. I think maybe I'm trying to think of a way of revisiting those so that you see them anew. Like I don't want to repeat putting. Yeah, I did a thing on Bob Coburn when he passed away. Look it up. Look up my name and Bob Coburn. You'll find it. A tribute to him. Yeah. Great broadcaster. There's been a lot of broadcasters as well passing away, and I've been asked, why don't you do things on U.S. broadcasters? It's hard to find bios on U.S. broadcasters, right? And before I do an obituary to anybody, I'll always check their wiki page, but more than that, I'll check a legitimate newspaper and see, make sure my facts are right. Can anybody see the reflection of the fireplace there? Because I've got a TV right behind me. And I actually should have put the TV on YouTube so I could read it from up there, which is right in line of the camera. I'm just trying to figure this stuff out. Who? Squiggy passed away today. Yeah, if you look in the community part of this station channel, I did a thing on him today, an obituary on him, because I loved Laverne and Shirley. I can't say Lenny and Squiggy were necessarily my favorite parts of that show. I always liked Shirley Williams. I was just madly in love with her. So in love with that woman. You know, even now, it's like Ann Wilson. You know, I don't care how old they are, what happens to them. I'll always be attracted to Ann Wilson. It's just, everyone went after Nancy, you know. Hi, John. Who was your first interview? I think Trooper, the Canadian band Trooper. I think not. I mean, first interview were local people from my whole hometown. We did a 6-part retrospective on the town where I grew up, and I interviewed a lot of local people, and that was the first interview. Let me see. Are you a Rush fan? Yes. Ken Gabriel music. Do you feel terrestrial radio is in danger of going away? Not now. Like I mentioned, I work for the #1 station, adult station in Vancouver, QMFM. And there, right here. See this here? Right there. And I've been working for them since they were since Chum in Canada bought the station in 92, 91, something like that. And before that, I worked at a legendary AM station for Chum, which was 14 CFUN on the West Coast, like one of the biggest radio stations in Canadian history. And it was a gold station. I was actually the last person on CFUN doing a music show before they turned to talk. I think I broke the station. People always say, John broke the station. Sorry, what was the question? Terrestrial radio. We're doing really well in Vancouver. We're actually all Christmas music right now, but we're doing incredibly well. Do you know Gonzo from Q107 Toronto? 80s. No. I don't know that many radio people anymore now that I broadcast from my home. I went through years where I tried to stay away from radio people. Isn't that weird? I was a radio person, and radio people, I don't know if they didn't get on my nerves, but I just wanted to talk to real people, you know? And then I went, what the hell's wrong with you? You know, some of my best friends are radio people in Canada. Question, I know I say Canada like an American, I know that. Have you heard the cruel prank Jim Morrison did to Cheryl Williams? No. What was it? Is it PG? It's Jim Morrison. Never know. Yeah. Look at I just had a brain fart there. Nothing came out. It was empty. There was nothing there. I don't know what's going on. Someone asked me, I use a preamp, by the way. This is a electro voice microphone. It's like $500 microphone. It's very good. It's a broadcast microphone. Radio stations use this to broadcast. I'm always asked about my and it's plugged into a one of those wires that goes into an iPhone. I'm broadcasting with an iPhone right now, which is about 2 years old. David Crosby would be a great interview. I've tried. Cameron Crowe, yeah. Well, God, speaking of Nancy Wilson, they're not together anymore, but I don't know if Cameron Crowe would be out of the. I think I could possibly get him. Maybe. A lot of people are just hanging around right now, and I'm so bombarded with old interviews that it's hard for me to. I would love you to interview Glass Tiger. I interviewed Glass Tiger, but an old interview. I interviewed Glass Tiger in Toronto when I was trying to sell my show, The Cross Canada Report. It was a syndicated show, aired 36 markets. At one point, we were at 42, but not for a long time. Most of the time, we were at 36 markets across the country. I had just been in radio 2 years. I should not have hosted the show, but hey, we still got in 36 markets. But I wasn't professional or good enough, and I didn't know what I didn't know. So one of the first interviews I did outside of Edmonton, where I started my broadcasting career, was to interview Glass Tiger when they were doing a photo shoot. And I forget the drummer, the original drummer. He told me during the photo shoot, during the sit down after, I think they might have been doing a video. I can't remember. We're in this great big, like sound stage thing. Anyway, oh, you lost me. That's weird because I'm downstairs and let me see. Oh, show. Okay, it's not coming up. Sonia, it's not coming up. Anyway, Alan Frew was there. And I remember looking at his eyes going, he's got the greenest eyes I've ever seen. I've told this story before. And I couldn't believe how green his eyes were. And I didn't realize you could get green contact lenses back then. But anyway, he had really green eyes. And I think I talked to one of the guitarists. I don't remember his name. And the drummer. Yeah. And he told me he was leaving the band. I went, what, are you crazy? You're leaving Glass Tiger? They're the biggest band in the country right now. But he left. Michael Hansen, thank you. Appreciate that. And Michael went off and did his own thing. But I was just talking to Derry Green of Honeymoon Suite about people leaving bands. And sometimes if you have a little success, you think you could do it on your own, or else maybe you just don't want to be in a band. I don't know his story. I haven't talked to him since 1980. Was it 87? The first album? What year was it? 86, 87? I used to like Someday. Don't Forget Me When I'm Gone is a great song, but Someday, there's just something about the way the drums come in and the production of that song. Great album though, Thin Red Line, just a perfect album. And Alan was a nice guy. Almost got a chance to talk to them on their anniversary tour. There's a guy who works with Rick Emmett. His name is Rick as well. Here's one, Gordon Lightfoot. I don't know if I've never tried for Gordon Lightfoot since I used to syndicate the Cross Canada Report. I haven't tried. David Lee Roth, insane leaving Van Halen. Yeah, that's probably a great example. But well, he's doing okay now, I think. The voice thing is a problem with David Lee Roth, of course. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of this. Wolfgang is really going out of his way to say he will not perform the Guess Who. I've got a story for you. It will not be doing Van Halen songs on his tour. I interviewed Randy Bachman. Yes, it's Bachman. He doesn't care, he says, as long as you buy the records. I interviewed him. But anyway, when I was in Toronto trying to sell that show, the Cross Canada Report, to Coke, we were trying to get Coke as a sponsor. Burton Cummings was playing at, someone told me before what that old hotel is, that Grand Hotel in Toronto. I forget the name of it. It comes in, it goes there and it leaves. But anyway, he's playing there and I contacted the manager, his manager, and the record company gave me his name. And he laughs at me when I said, well, I've got till noon, then I've got to catch a flight at 2. And he laughs at me and he said, Burton Cummings doesn't wake up before noon. What, are you crazy? I'm going, oh, okay, sure. That's okay. A lot of, rock stars after a show. He was doing a run at this hotel in 86 or 87. Could have been 88. I don't remember. He was a what? David Lee Roth? Really? He was a paramedic at one point? Wow. I didn't know that, Lori. You got the goods. Thank you. I love little trivia things like that. We're looking at doing a video on. We just did that one with performers who died without a lot of fanfare, and they really did die without a lot of people. Dan Hartman. I remember going, did he die? And I couldn't remember if he had died. And then our writer, Jason Close, put it all together. It was great. Sometimes I don't feel like writing. So your opinion for Americans, what's the best Canadian rock band and/or yacht rock band? The yacht rock thing? I don't know. And it's so strange. I used to syndicate that show, yacht rock Canadian. Any suggestions? I can't even think of anybody really. Kind of that yacht rock LA sound for in Canada. There's tons of them. Yeah, name one, John. Chilliwack, the band who did My Girl. Yeah, but April Wine wouldn't be yacht rock. April Wine's my favorite Canadian band. Period. So if that's what you want, they're my favorite Canadian band. Like bar none. That's why when I do my show sometimes, I look at my autographed April Wine albums. There you go. The whole world's going crazy. You can't really see the autographs on that one as much because it's all autographed in gold. I love April Wine. Love Miles Goodwin. He's a hero to me. He really is. Is that cord hot? Nope, we're okay. Okay. Let's see. Questions. This is way more fun than doing a video, really. I just didn't feel like editing tonight. I just thought, let's talk to some friends, Okay. Dan Hartman was a great part of the Edgar Winter group. Yep. Free ride. Guess who was pretty good? And Randy says Jesse Colin Young and Art Garfunkel were the fourth grade. Oh, I didn't know that. What's your thoughts on Art Garfunkel? To me, I liked Art Garfunkel's solo stuff. And we were thinking of doing, you tell me, what performers in any, rock or pop, what performers do you think were highly underrated? And my first thought was Art Garfunkel the other day because I used to listen to a lot of his stuff. I haven't in years, and I really liked it because I found him soothing. Hold on. The lights make me itchy. I start getting hot. Black Noise FM. Oh my God, Phasers on Stun, baby. Yeah. I had it. I still have it. J.D. Souther, good one. I tried to get an interview with J.D. Souther, but he never got back to me. A lot of them don't get back. They read it and they go, yeah, another guy wants an interview, and you can't expect them to. Say, well, don't they know who we are? I mean, there's so many people doing what I do. Gino Vanelli is underrated. He is. I was looking at more underrated than that. Like I look at a band like Zon, or Kayak. Zon from Canada, Kayak from Holland, of bands that I thought were just amazing. But no, most people don't know who they are. Okay, hold on. Blue Nile. I don't know Blue Nile. Who's Blue Nile? I know the name. Kim Mitchell was underrated, but see, not in Canada. He was underrated in the U.S. I don't think Joni's underrated. I mean, it depends upon maybe where you're from. Richard Marx is known for the 80s, but his writing for other people's, with like NSYNC, Barbra Streisand. Yeah, is it This I Promise You? What's the song that he wrote? I play it all the time on QMFM. Aldo Nova, yeah. That's if you don't look at, are you looking for best Canadian or underrated? For Three Dog Night, I don't know. There's only two of them left. Chuck Negron, I interviewed. He's the member that I interviewed. He was very forthright. And Under, yeah. He was so nice. Chuck was fun. But look up Chuck Negron, John Beaudin. Dave's Guitar Channel. Honeymoon Suite were great for a few years. Their new stuff's really good. I like their new stuff. Have you ever interviewed Biff Naked? I have. And guess what Biff Naked asked me? I was writing I used to write for a paper in Vancouver, and it was the second professional writing gig I ever had. And so they paid me. They asked me to write a 5,000 word piece on making it as a musician in the Lower Mainland in Vancouver, Burnaby, West and North Vancouver, White Rock, all that whole area. And so I interviewed Bill Henderson of Chilliwack, Biff Naked, and a whole bunch of not so well-known people. A few others might come up. John Bottomley. And Biff at the end of the interview asked me, or during the interview, I've still got it. Like I said, I never throw away an interview. She said, hey, listen, I'm going on tour or vacation or something. Do you know anyone who could look after my dogs? And I guess she had one or two, at least one big dog, I forget. And I remember, and she said, can you look after my dogs? I'm going, Biff Naked, you don't even know me. You think you know me, but you don't know me. No. So anyway, I didn't look after her dogs. She was really nice, though. She's cool. Every interview Andy Kim. I'm trying to get him right now. There's a guy in Canada named Eric Alper. He sometimes does music stints on CTV here in this country to talk about music. Eric's a very talented man, very well connected. And he's the guy who I just talked to try to get Bruce Coburn, but Bruce said he'd rather wait till he has a new album. Anyway. So I asked him because he's doing a show on like the 20th or the 21st or something, an all-star cast show with Andy Kim. So I told him, I said, hey, hook me up. I don't think it's going to happen because he hasn't got back to me. I don't have a favorite Bowie album. I've never bought a David Bowie album in my life. I had Let's Dance. I got that free. I've never been a big David Bowie fan, but my best friend Tommy Morrison was a huge David Bowie fan. And so I heard a lot. Low, maybe. Yeah. That Berlin era. Bowie is underrated. I guess it depends who you talk to. I didn't like artists that it's just that sound. I wasn't into. He had so many different sounds, but I wasn't really into. I never loved anything he did. I remember hearing Golden Years and thinking, well, that's kind of cool. That's but I've never. And I was in radio when the Let's Dance thing went crazy. Okay. Can you interview David Crosby? I've tried. No response. Mike says, was thinking where I knew Biff Naked from Brain Fart, one of the last new albums I played as a DJ. Oh, okay. Mike, DJ. Love those DJs. David's Guitar Channel. Ziggy was mine. Yeah, a lot of people would pick Ziggy. Do you like King Crimson? I was just listening to King Crimson this morning because I have a tendency to wake up usually about 5 o'clock in the morning. I'll go to bed at 10 a lot of the times. And I was listening to early King Crimson, and I just looked at, John Wetton was in the band and Bill Bruford. And I listened to it and I'm going, I can't, it's so cool to like King Crimson. And I understand that. And maybe my palate's not sophisticated enough, but Yes and Genesis are my favorite prog bands. I mean, that's it. Genesis would win out over Yes. So I just, sure touch my face. Keep watching myself. What the hell? Ibificus. Oh, yeah. Hey, buddy, it's Nico Hope. Hope you're well. All bad here in Los Angeles. COVID sky high. Yeah, I know. I watch news, American news, every single day, the news networks. And I follow news, and I'm a news hound to a certain degree, more in the U.S. than I am here in Canada, believe it or not. So I watched. So I'm always watching the numbers in the U.S. That's a lot of people dying. Number one cause of death in the U.S. Um, I was never a fan of Quicksilver Master Service. My friend, I think Jeff was. Was it Jeff or Jody? I forget which one it was. Oh yeah, you know that, Mike. My wife's musical taste. She likes new country. Uh, She'll play me stuff. Who's the band? All I Want to Do. Jennifer Nettles. What's that big? What's the name of that band? What's the name of that band? Um, big. Oh, I forget what they're. What's the name of the Jennifer Nettles band in New Country? She really likes her. New Country. Little Big Town. Is that it? Yeah. Anyway, I don't know a lot of old country. I know that I could never. Sugarland. Thank you. Yeah, it's Sugarland. I could not work at a country station. As they say down south, that dog won't hunt. I wouldn't. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't. I couldn't do it. And Jennifer seems like the nicest lady in the universe. She just seems like a nice soul. But that All I Want to Do song, that's probably one of my most hated songs. I cannot stand that song. Remember, you either like something or you don't, right? Dave's Guitar Channel, Sugarland. Thank you. Little Big Town, no. I love Hocus Pocus. Yeah, by Focus. Yeah, that was a whacked out song. We used to play that when Rock History Book, not Rock History Music, but Rock History Book used to be a streaming station. I notice that when I do obituaries, by the way, folks, on country artists, that they get a lot of response, but they're because of their age, and it is an obituary. These are older country artists, so I can tell by the demographic and the likes and dislikes on this channel that when I do an obituary, you guys can dig it or care. You know what I mean? So I like that. Thank you. Bro country makes me angry. Sonia, I saw you singing to a tune the other day. What were you singing to? Because it was the middle of the night and I couldn't put the volume up. I woke up at 4 a.m. or something. Was it last night? When I'm just waking up, I'm kind of, God, I touch my face a lot. When did the Beatles split up? Why are you asking me that? 1970. Was it 69? I don't know. Jerry Beckley, have you ever interviewed Dewey Bunnell? I have not. I met him. I've got a picture with him backstage with some concert winners. Dewey was really nice. I wanted to ask him if he really knew A Horse with No Name. What? Paul Carrick, I'd like to. Hey at Jonathan McCullough. I'm not sure what you're doing there. Dave's Guitar Shop. See, I'm trying to promote your channel. Dave's Guitar Shop. Check it out. I love it when someone calls me up and they go, hey, let's do something together. And the guy from the Steve Perry Journey channel, I forget his name. He emailed me and I got sidetracked. I have to get back to him. He seems like a nice guy. What's your fave George Harrison with the Beatles? I liked, believe it or not, 33 and the Third. A lot of folks don't like that album. I might have been 15 when that was released. And I really like that album. He's always got a little bit of hokey stuff on it, but so does McCartney, right? And, sort of Scoogie Moogie. That's more of a McCartney thing. You too, Jonathan. Cracker Box Palace. Yeah. See, that was kind of like a bubbly gummy kind of song, right? But he had those All Things Must Pass. I've interviewed, I think, 4 or 5 people who were involved on that album. And it's, easily known as George Harrison's first official real album and his best album. And many folks will say that of all the Beatles solo albums, that's the best one. Kind of cool. People talking at Dave's Guitar Shop. Steve Perry's new music. Lori, I like it. I don't love it. But I love Steve Perry. So there you go. Guitar Channel. Paul Weller, never been a fan. Even a little bit. I am listening to some, I am going back to the UK charts to see the music I missed from the 80s, especially the 80s, because I love the 80s sound, like that pocket, that level 4-2, even Go West. Not as much Go West. I never bought a Go West album, but Mr. Mister, I miss that kind of sound a lot, you know. And Mr. Mister are kind of still around, but so I'm going back to the English charts with songs that were not hits, like Tasman Archer. That's 90s. Listening to people like that I didn't miss necessarily. Tasman I got with Sleeping Satellites, but I'm listening to a lot of that kind of stuff. Steve Vai, never been a Steve Vai fan, but it took me a lot of years to get into sort of bluesy stuff. I would, obviously with Zeppelin, I didn't realize, well, oh, that's the blues because I was young. I don't know. I like John Lennon, yes, but I'm a Paul McCartney fan. I'll always pick Paul over John. I had Imagine, of course, that the compilation Shave Fish. I don't know what other album I had. I think I only had 3 in high school. I had bought them all when he died, like everybody. But in high school, I had 3 John Lennon albums. That was it. Paul McCartney, I had God, Venus and Mars, Band on the Run, of course. Hold on. London Town, I liked a lot too. Back to the Egg, I freaking love that album. But that was after high school. I'm listening to more new music now because we have a new channel called My Chill, which used to be a horror music channel. One of my friends convinced me to do a horror movie channel, and I kind of liked it for a while, but it was kind of hokey. I was just starting on YouTube. So I've silenced all those videos, and everyone, a few people have asked me, hey, can I buy My Chill? I'm going, I don't think you can sell a YouTube channel. I don't think you're allowed. Yeah, he did. John Lennon and John Bonham and Paul McCartney. That's right. Have you done an interview the last 5-10 years that was expanded your view of the world in the music business? Okay, hold on. Let me just hold on. Hold on. I see what he wrote me here. I'm trying to hold on. Notifications. I'm on Facebook. Sorry if I'm missing anything. I can't get in it. Hold on. It's coming up. Oh yeah, Phil Brown. Great songwriter. Played with Little Feat. We have a mutual friend who got us together, and we're going to do an interview next week, and he's an incredibly talented guy. But in 43 years of writing, and for broadcast rights and for writing rights, he has earned maybe a few $1,000s in income. Insane. Anyway, I learned a lot from even watching his videos of the fact that, a lot of songwriters never get money. Chuck Berry never made money till he was in his 60s, real money. How do you feel about, oh, hold on. Sorry. I'm not yawning at you. I've got bad heartburn. Eating all those pre-made meals from Costco. They're good, but rocking and roll is no longer being popular music. I don't think rock is dead. I think a lot of fans are not as open as I would like them to be, because you can't either like something or you don't. You can't force anybody to like something, to new music. Like, for instance, the new Toto stuff I really liked. The new Kansas album I freaking loved. Good morning. It's 2 a.m. D. Holy moly. Where are you? Box food is bad. No, this is fresh food. This is not box food. Sorry. It's pre-made meals from Costco. So all the food is fresh, but you got to cook it in a few days. I'm listening to Take 6. Oh, yeah. Remember Take 6? Yeah, All the Blues. Oh, he's in Northern Ireland. Wow. Man. Well, good morning. Thanks for hanging out. What are you doing at 2 a.m.? I hope you're getting ready to go. Get you some Peps. What, Sonia? Everyone else can see those comments too, right? You can see everyone else's comments. Look, I haven't shaved in a few days because I just hang around home doing videos. Ram was a great album. It had Ram. I liked it. I didn't love it. I wanted Paul McCartney to be more the Beatles Paul McCartney, but that was a moment in time where he was playing, up against the competition of John Lennon. There's street tacos. What's that mean? Like they sell tacos not in their Sonia, not in their canteen thing restaurant. I don't know. I've never bought tacos from Costco. Costco, you go there, you're going, oh, we'll only spend $100, and then $500 later, you're going, God, that's a lot of food, or that's a lot of toilet paper, man. D, drinking Jack Daniels, Tennessee Fire. Sorry. I'll have a little scotch later. It's the weekend. The Who's Next? Yeah. Well, believe it or not, the first Who album I bought, and I've said this before on live broadcast, was Who Are You? I'd heard, of course, The Who, and I had cassettes of The Who that I would record off my friends' albums. But the first actual album I bought was, Who Are You? I love that album still my favorite. You put them together at home? We might have had them. Yeah, they were okay. The tacos from Costco, I think we're talking about the same thing. Paul Young was great. Mm-hmm. Do you like Traffic? Yeah, but it was before my time, so Traffic I got to know later. Working at 14C Fun in Vancouver helped me go a little deeper with bands that I had missed because I'm 60. I was born in 1960. That's easy to remember, isn't it? Because of that, being a 70s first very pop music lover, being a pop music lover, it took me a while to get into rock, so I didn't do that till probably 75. Liked a lot of bubblegummy kind of stuff. I love all the Beatles, but George should have been. Should have George, yeah. Yeah, Quadrophenia, you're right. I went to see the movie when it was released, when they had that. The Raspberries. Oh, where is it? Hold on. There's an Eric Carmen interview that my former boss gave me. Hold on. Okay, here's some interviews that we haven't put up. Bruce Johnson, Beach Boys. These are all reel-to-reels. They're empty because this is a Canadian one. Ian Thomas, brother of Dave Thomas of SCTV. That's easy to see. Men at Work. That would be Colin, I'm sure. Doug Bennett of Doug and the Slugs. Let's see what else we have. Oh, Cutting Crew. I just died in your arms. Yeah, you can tell I can't. Tom Cochrane, Studio. What else we got? Oh, Dr. John. It's not ours though. Some other guy did it, so we can't really broadcast that. And there's another one down here. So I'm like, hold on, folks. No. Anyway, we got an Eric Carmen interview. I didn't do it. My first radio boss, Len Tucson, did it. And he gave it to me. And I just put it on one day. And I go, how come Len's interviews are all in good shape? And mine sound like... I have to bake them. I've decided that, the dehumidifier I have doesn't work really well for whatever reason to bake. Or maybe I'm doing it wrong. I'm putting them on for like 8 hours. But they still sound quite muffled. So there. Anyway, is it time to wrap it up? I got to do my show pretty quick. I just wanted to get on and say hi. Whatever happened to Ian? Oh, yeah. Hold on, yeah. I don't know. Was it Gom? Gom? I never knew. I don't think I've ever known how to pronounce his name. Stomping Tom. Long dead. And another big bag of potatoes. P.I. ZZ Top really rocked in the 80s. Yeah, I preferred the 70s ZZ Top a little bit more. Paul is releasing a new album. That's right, McCartney 3. Man, what I do to interview Paul McCartney. God. Eric Carmen, one of the great voices of rock. Yeah, I like Boats Against the Current. A lot of people don't like that album. That was a few albums after the self-titled debut in 75, I think it was. But Boats Against the Current came out a few years later, and I just love that album. It hasn't stood the test of time like the first one. Remember Eddie and the Tooth? The lyrics from the first one. It's too small. I got to read it off here. Sorry. What is it? I think you missed it. What's your favorite Genesis B-side? Oh, I don't know. They were just talking on the Genesis site about Spot the Pigeon the other day and that whole EP. John Waite. No, I almost interviewed John Waite. It was canceled. I'm pretty sure. Was it John Waite? There was so many. I was interviewing Steve Gadd that week. Edie Brickell was supposed to come on because she was part of the Gadabouts, but she didn't come on. I didn't want to make Steve Gadd feel bad. I felt like saying, but where's Edie Brickell? But I didn't. Okay. One of my friends, actually my friend Tommy Morrison, was a 10 Years After fan. Big fan. Bubblegummy, you know what? It's not really bubblegummy. It was really, well, I guess it was. I loved Captain and Tennille. I used to love that band. And, Tony Tennille, you guys must have seen my wall from New Brunswick. Shannon standing in front of it. And anyway, my daughter's having a fit upstairs. She's autistic. She sometimes has a... But anyway, Tony Tennille saw a picture of her logo for Captain and Tennille, and she said she was smoking hot. You're right. She said, "Oh my God, that is so cool." Someone tweeted it to her, and so Tony Tennille was in my bedroom. Not really, but the wall was drawn in fluorescent paint in my bedroom, and it's still there. So when my mother moves out, even though it's on the other side of the country, I have to figure out a way to get my wall. Yeah, Muskrat Love. I know, just kind of like, I like America's version better, but stuff, I just love Captain and Tennille. And I liked Charity Brown, a Canadian artist who did a lot of the old Motown stuff. Not that it was necessarily bubblegummy, but some of that stuff kind of sounded like that. I don't know why this is so far behind. Look, I'm still showing interviews over here. That's weird. Did you like Bread? Yep, I had their greatest hits. Remember they had Greatest Hits Volume 1 and Volume 2 by the mid-70s before David Gates did them. They're all dead except David Gates. Everybody's dead. They were just saying, someone was mentioning the Bee Gees. They were saying today that the new Bee Gees documentary is not a warts and all documentary, but if someone's involved in their own documentary, kind of like Chicago, where you're not really going to you're just going to get the band's point of view. Or I Remember I Love You by Climax Blues Band. Focus was great. Yodel, I can't yodel. I'm thinking about, hold on a second. My handy. Just give me a sec. What's that album by them that I liked so much? Can't forget the name of it. Maybe you know the album I'm talking about. It was such a great album. Hold on. Looking. Was it Hamburger Concerto? A friend had it. And I haven't thought of it in so many years. But you know how it is when you don't think of something for a long time, it just kind of escapes your brain. You're going, oh, I don't know, what was that again? Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, I think it was that one. Pretty sure. Look, it's John and Shannon hanging out. Look, it says my reminder, record show in red. Record show. Record your show. Yes, D. Moving waves. Oh, hamburger concerto. Yeah, those were the days. 74%. Did you see that? Yeah. And then there's a map of Calgary. It's zeroing clear. There's Chase and his girlfriend. She's in the hospital right now. We love her. She's such a sweet girl. She's just going through some stuff. Just hold on. Let me go back in here so I can read this. Because every time I go out of it, it stops. Have a great show. Thank you. There you go, 1050 Chum. I worked for their counterpart in Vancouver at 1410 Seafun, which was like one of the biggest stations in Western Canada and one of the biggest stations in the country. I'm very, very proud of being on the air on that station. It meant a lot for me. I remember the first night I was on, I was very nervous. I didn't tell any of my friends. I'd been in radio at that time for 8 years, but I was still very nervous. I went, oh my God, I'm on the air at 14 Seafun, you know, but that was an all-night show, so I didn't tell anybody. No one knew I was on. One person phoned me up and said, hey, John, you're on the air again. I hadn't really left, but anyway. I haven't heard the stripped-down version of Steve Perry's new album. Speaking of symphonic rock, Asia, Saga, Journey, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. How about some Triumph? Well, I interviewed Rick Emmett. I just interviewed him. That series is done. We just have one more part we're going to put on the Canadian channel where he talks about New Brunswick because I'm from New Brunswick. So there you go. Triumph. Never became a Rory Gallagher fan until much later, till after he was dead. Harmonium. Anybody know that band? They're from Quebec. I mean, you could be a huge band in Quebec and outside of Canada, no one knows who you are. It can happen. It's happened many times. More times than not. But I just interviewed Serge from the band. It was basically his band. Great interview. Just a musical genius. Speaking of symphonic rock. Anyway, my son just finished editing that last night. And they're doing a classical version of the first four harmonium albums. I like their stuff. No, the original Grand Funk Railroad, I don't think we'll ever get back together unless they're inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I interviewed Mark Farner, and a week later, might have been 2 weeks, I don't know. I interviewed, Don Brewer first, then Mark Farner, or the other way around. So they're both on this channel. And I have them both talking separately, of course. Don says that the current version of Grand Funk is what the fans want. Boy, did he get roasted on the channel for saying that. I let him say whatever he wants. Ronnie James Dio. Yeah, was that Facebook account that he had, was that real? Was that really him? Because I was friends with, there was pictures of him. I don't know if it was real, but then he passed away. I'm not a big metal guy at all. Well, their manager screwed them for a lot of money. When you look up bands that were screwed by their manager, and I just talked to Joey from Badfinger, and that's the ultimate example because they lost so much money, and two of the members, Tommy, when Tommy died, I almost more surprised by that because I thought, what? But yeah, it's a sad story. Okay, what do we got? I gotta go pretty soon. Oh, cool. Quadrophenia, yeah. Badfinger was such a good band. I mean, Joey talked about playing on All Things Must Pass. And I talked to Alan White about being on that album. Who else did I talk to that was on that album? Oh, who else? There's 4 people I talked to who were on that album. John Fogerty. Yes. Yeah. Of course, CCR were really screwed over. But it's Grand Funk, CCR, Badfinger. There are a few other ones. Yeah, Harmonium Fest. For me, I grew up in a French community in New Brunswick, and I used to be totally French, so people around us liked Harmonium. That was their version of the proggy rock stuff. And when I talked to Serge, he was a fan of Yes. When I told him I interviewed John Anderson, he seemed very impressed. He loved Genesis and Yes and all that stuff, and you could hear it in the music. By the way, we have a thing on Klaatu coming out. I interviewed all 3 members of Klaatu. Small Faces were screwed by their managers. I didn't know that. Oh, Sharon's dad. Yes. Oh, yeah. A lot of that came out recently. King Crimson, what about them? Haven't interviewed them. Not Robert. Well, I interviewed Bill Bruford. He's, of course, was the first guy, the first drummer. And I didn't get around to King Crimson with him. Yeah, Porcupine Tree's pretty complicated stuff. Because he had just had enough. Yeah, he was a good drummer. Really good drummer. Like I said a while ago, it's the only interview that I ever did in the last few years where I got a little nervous. I got self-conscious almost. I'm going, do I sound like a freaking idiot? Now and then you'll get those moments. And it's good to have those moments, just to think to yourself, do you know what you're talking about? Are you babbling on? You have to second guess yourself sometimes. And up till Bill Bruford, I'd been doing so many interviews for so many years that I never stopped to ask myself, are you just babbling? Are you asking the same questions to everybody? I do ask a lot of the same questions to a lot of people. Like, I'll always ask, I'm doing a video now. What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you on stage? And almost everyone says they fell on off the stage. Thank you. You sound like a real person. That means a lot to me. You have no idea. I'm not being sarcastic. Bill Bruford is one of my fave drummers. Yeah. Can you give me a free electric guitar? Are you asking the So does Bubblegum Sweet Tooth include Sweet City Women? Yeah, that's kind of bubbly gum-ish. I'm trying to get the Stampeders, but Ronnie King had hurt his back and he was going to the chiropractor or something. And I'm friends with Ronnie King. Kim, his wife's a radio gal. I don't know if she's still in radio. I think they live in the interior BC. And Rich Dotson, he's in Toronto, used to own a recording studio. I don't know if he still does. You guys might know that. Really, Robert Stigwood took advantage of the Bee Gees? I think that sometimes when you have free reign of money, it can screw things up. Favorite Toto albums? The 7th one, Toto 4 and 14. I like Fahrenheit. Didn't like Turn Back till recently. I kind of like it now. Kathy. Hi, John. Hello. Dan Sharp, the real tragedy was the record labels spit out music with the auto-tune. Real music is dead, yeah. Toto 14 Orphan, yeah, good stuff. Running out of time, that guitar lick on that, the opening. Just every time. It's crazy that a band that, Luke is very open about his ingestions of different things in the 80s, and I'm not sure when that stopped, but he did clean up his act to a certain degree, and the fact that he's still sharp like that can come up with, and I've said this many times on this channel, that he said that, I said, where do you come up with these guitar riffs? And he said, well, I'm playing with these guys, I got to keep my, you You got to be good. And I went, yeah, okay, you're just being modest. But good for him. I got to turn the heater up a little bit more. You know, the other thing about doing live broadcast is after a while I'm starting to, I don't know if you guys feel that. If I don't move, I feel 60 sometimes in my knees. Because in the winter, I don't walk an awful lot because it's cold, and I hate the cold. I don't know why I live in Calgary. But I have to continue walk through the house and then try to walk the dogs as often as I can. I feel it. I'm really feeling it this year a lot. Floyd the Barber. Are you a fan of any YouTube artists like Foxes and Fossils? I don't know who they are. No, I don't know who they are. Send me a link and I'll check it out. But yeah, I'm so stiff this year. I don't know what it is. Like insanely. I gotta walk more. In summertime, the dogs and I will walk 4 kilometers every single day, no matter what. Unless it's raining, of course. So it's not no matter what. Did Supertramp back in live album? I'm not sure what you're asking. Nice to see you, Gary. Pookie, the White Album. I love the White Album. I love the White Album and Let It Be, 2 albums that were quite raw in some spaces, right? Especially the White Album, of course. Number 9. I got the White Album midway through high school. I forget. Oh, yeah. Is that Morrow? See? I remember meeting Rich Dotson in the early 90s at the time, and he told me he was still pulling $20K a year on radio royalties for Sweet City Woman. Really? Wow. Thank you. Right note. I contacted him when I was in Toronto when I interviewed Glass Tiger and tried to interview Burton Cummings in 87, I think it was. And I talked to Rich on the phone. We were going to do an interview, but then I called him one day. I said, are you ready today at 2 or whatever it was? And he says, sorry, John, I can't do it. I'm way too busy. Got recording sessions going on because he had a studio. I don't know if it was at his home but we had played a few of his songs on the radio and on my show, Cross Canada Report. I was very nervous to meet him. I wouldn't be now at all. Like I said before, I don't get nervous. It's rare for me to get nervous when I interview someone because they're always really nice. That's his thing. Oh, Magical Mystery Tour is my fave Beatles. Oh, I don't hear that a lot. Obscured by Clouds, fave Pink Floyd. I liked Be Careful with That Axe, Eugene. Amagama. I like that album. Someone locked me into a room. I didn't do any of this stuff in high school, but I drank on weekends, and I remember I had too much something. And Be Careful with That Axe, Eugene was playing in the background, and I wasn't warned of the scream. Uh-oh. Music releases are you looking forward to? Well, last year, the Hornsby album, I was very disappointed with it in the beginning, and then they always grow on me. Because, I met Bruce, and he signed 4 albums for me up until Harbor Lights. Then I interviewed him one time after that 2 years later, and now I can't get an interview with Bruce Hornsby. I don't know if I'm on the naughty list, but I have tried now for, I think, 5 years in a row or 5 releases in a row or whatever it is, and I can't get Bruce Hornsby. Yeah, Amagama is a bit much for me. Hayes, is it Hayes? Hayes Anderson. Yeah. I thought The Wall should have been a single album, but I know that's sacrilegious for some Floyd fans to hear. It's like when people say the White Album should have been a single album. I understand if you don't like it. It's like Blue Moves should have been a single album. A lot of people say by Elton John, but I love Blue Moves, every bit of it, except Where's the Hurrah? What was the name of that song? I forget. Where's the Hurrah? Yeah. I don't know. I forget. Too long ago. With this shirt, which, by the way, is a Boston shirt. I never wear it because I don't like tight things around my neck. And this is quite tight. Too tight. Okay. I missed some comments here. Government mules. I don't know who that is. Yeah, see Emily play the old stuff. Boston. I told you Jim Masdia, or Masdia, has called me off and on. He'll FaceTime me on Messenger because he saw one of my videos and where I was talking about him one day, and then the next day he texted me. Well, at first we became friends on Facebook, and he says, "Hey John, like your stuff. Let's talk." And he's like a no bull kind of guy, right? And he was the original drummer for Boston, and he came back for Third Stage for the tour. The first album is a masterpiece, and the second album sounds a lot like the first album, but was not as good. Brad Delp was an amazing singer. Oh, one of the hardest, toughest. Let's use another word, shall we? One of the toughest rock deaths that yeah, Sib was great. Yeah, Sib with his big hair. But Sib and Jim shared drumming duties on Third Stage, which I wasn't really a fan of that album. I think I told you guys that Jim did a private concert for my son and I. He said, "Hey, come and see my basement." So he was buying a place because he's doing a bed and breakfast in Boston. And so I started talking to him, and he told me a lot of stuff that I could, in a million years, not repeat here because I'm not allowed to. Yeah, Sib was a great drummer. And his daughter, wasn't his daughter married to The Rock? Amanda was a nice song. I've never seen Boston in concert. I had a chance to see them for Third Stage, and I chose not to. Yeah, I just didn't go. Yeah, Brad Delp. Yeah. Beetlejuice was his cover band. He did the Beatles songs. Yeah. Boston, I've got it autographed over there by Brad and Tom Scholes, is one of my all-time favorite albums. Like easily one of the greatest debut albums, one of the greatest rock albums of all time. The Eagles have become a cover band. Well, it's not the Eagles of the past, that's for sure. I don't know if they'll ever go up again. I'm sure they will. There's going to be a hunger to go up on stage after people have this vaccine, which I trust, but I won't take it right away. I'll take it probably a month after. I don't know. Because I'm 60. I mean, that getting into that danger zone. RTZ, yeah, had Osric Tentacles. There's another band that's very complicated. Yeah. Oh, Morrow C. Saw Boston 4 times. Yeah, I had a lot of Boston bootlegs and enjoyed them an awful lot. Didn't sound as good. I had a chance to see Boston a few years after, maybe 8 years ago. They were in Toronto, and my wife's cousin could have got its tickets, but it was way too much driving, and we were quite a while a ways away from Toronto. Are you a Boskags fan? Oh yeah, yeah. My son can do Lowdown. Jeff Picaro. My son's a pretty good little drummer. He's RTC Until Your Love Comes Back Around. Yeah, no, I remember the stuff. And Barry Goudreau's album, his first album there, that black and white cover where Brad sings on it. He and Brad were always close anyway, right till the end. Jojo and Lido, good songs from Boskags. I didn't know who Boskags was before Silk Degrees. I didn't know who he was. Then I went back, but I wasn't crazy about the earlier stuff. So I have Boston Live 76 in Long Beach. Oh, 10 plus sound. Cool. That was such an album. Anyway, I've got a Picaro, Rosanna. Yeah, my son can do the halftime shuffle on Rosanna. He's got it down pretty well. If you look up Chase, you'll see if you look up Chase, Toto, Rosanna, Or drums, Toto Rosanna, you'll find him. He was only 9 years old. He was on electric drums, but he was still doing it. Now he's just so polished. And look up Chase Tom Sawyer. It's on the same channel, the Aircom channel. Look up Chase drums, Tom Sawyer, and you'll see Chase doing Rush's Tom Sawyer. Now he's 16. He's taller than me. But his kit's just around the corner. He's got a beautiful Pearl kit that Nana and Papa bought him. That's quite expensive. He's getting new pedals for it now. But yeah, okay. Let's see what we got, shall we? Pretty Shuffle, yeah. He can do the Pretty Shuffle. He can do the Fool in the Rain, Bonham Shuffle, dun, 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 and then that middle part. Oh, Monsters of Rock, Bon Jovi headlined. My first gig was a band called Abraham's Children, a Canadian band. By that name, are they religious? I don't think they were. It wasn't a religious concert. But that was my first concert I ever went to. And I think the Stampeders were two. The Stampeders had a lot of hits in Canada, like one hit after another. They had tons of hits. And a lot of people in the U.S. will know them as Sweet City Woman, of course. It's all in the ghost notes with the shuffle, yeah. How about the curly shuffle? I don't know that. Yeah, you mean? No, I didn't run into Jerry Rafferty, but Ray Williams did a live broadcast with us. Ray's the guy who introduced Elton John to Bernie Taupin, and Ray mentioned that he was sad. He spent a lot of time with Jerry Rafferty. He's sad that Jerry couldn't get on stage without having a drink. And of course, ultimately, that's one of the things that led to his demise, the fact that he liked his liquor. Coming from a French family with a lot of liquor around, I know about those bouts. I know about that struggle firsthand. I know how difficult it can be. I mean, I'd go through stages of drinking every night and then drink on the weekends and not drink for 3 years. And then now just drinking on the weekends. Bernie Ledden told me that he can drink now. And it's really rare. I said, how do you drink? And we were talking about that. He says, well, you're doing it. I said, well, I know. But I don't know how I can do that. It's difficult, to just, and then when you drink on the weekends, you can't drink a lot, or else you stop drinking, right? So when he told me about drinking and Jerry Rafferty, I went, wow, like that's a lot of drinking. I never drank like that, ever. When people sometimes laugh at when I talk about what I used to drink and they go, yeah, but that's not a lot. And I'm going, doesn't matter. So coming from a long line of alcoholics, I had empathy for Jerry Rafferty and knew that how easy it could be to get stuck in a situation like that. So, I mean, you heard the stories that Jerry would, wreck hotel rooms, or he would bleed and there was bodily fluids, and it was awful. And he's just such an incredibly talented man. Oh my God, just insane. And with Jerry Rafferty, you don't have to look at just the hits, from Night Owl or City to City, the two biggest albums, or even the Steelers Wheel stuff. Yeah. Like Joe Egan, was it Joe Egan? Was that his name? He's the guy who sang on the video to Stuck in the Middle with You. He didn't even sing that song. People said, oh, that was him. It wasn't him. Even I told Ray, I said, Ray, why was he singing the song? Jerry sings that song. And he says, well, Jerry wasn't around, and so we put him on there. And I had an argument once with someone saying, that really is him. No, Jerry sang that song. Sounds just like Jerry. So anyway, I digress. Blah, 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 blah. Why I oughta. Okay. I haven't heard Van Morrison, Eric Clapton's new song. Clapton drank 2 bottles of scotch a day. Oh my God, I would fall over. I'd die. Driver's Seat was a great song about that album. And I interviewed one of the guys who went on tour with, was their backup singer, who was a lead singer for Mike Rutherford's first solo album from Genesis, Small Creeps Day, Noel McCalla. And he used to tour with Sniff and the Tear. It's a small world when you're doing interviews, and all of a sudden you go, "Oh, you know that person? Oh, I know that person. How do you know?" And in my case, I don't really know that person. It means I've interviewed them a few times, where I get back on the phone with them, like Steve Hackett. Like on this week, I think it's Tuesday. I interview him. He'll say, "Hey, John, how you doing? How you been?" But I don't really know him. But I've interviewed him like 5, 6 times. So Georgia Moroder, no. But I just interviewed Bruce Sedano, who was Donna Summer's widower, and we talked about Georgia Moroder. Eric Clapton did have problems with alcohol. It'll cause you health problems. What a sax solo. He was talking about Jerry Rafferty, obviously, right? Amazing sax solo. Crazy. Like crazy. What's his name? Basil Ravenscroft or something like that. Raphael Ravenscroft or something. I don't know. Forget. The 6 Degrees of John. Yeah, bro. But you know what? The people who do our stuff, we've always been known as the bottom feeders of entertainment because we always have a self-conscious when we get on stage to introduce a band. There's like 16,000 people looking at you going, "Get the hell off the stage. Bring on the band." I can't say that I blame them. I always refuse to go, "Hey, I'm John Beaudin from K103 and we're giving away." I'm not doing a promotion. I'm introducing the band, but I'm not doing a promotion in front of 16,000 people. It's not going to happen. And they said, "Well, what's the point of doing it?" Well, that's nice. You just want someone from the radio station to mention the station's name. Once someone asked me to change my name because my name is Beaudin, French. I said, "I'm not changing my name. I'm John Beaudin. That's who I am. I'm John Beaudin, damn it." Okay. Booze the Great Escape. But only to a point, yeah. Well, now, to be really frank, when I drink scotch, I drink it really slowly now, and I just wait, and you can't get sloshed. You can't. Steve Hackett was telling me, I've said this story before, sorry if you've heard it before, formerly of Genesis. I interviewed him once, it was 9 o'clock his time, and I said, "Oh, you're breaking the stereotype." He said, "Oh, John, I can't live that lifestyle anymore." I'm pretty sure it's on one of the interviews on. Okay, I got to wrap things up pretty quick here, 7:45. I met Klemberg. Realize he was very polite. Did you ever watch Leland Sklar videos on YouTube? No, I don't watch a lot of people who do. I know Leland's a musician first, and of course a legend. I asked Leland twice to do an interview on Facebook. He never got back to me. Then I got on his website and wrote him a letter and said, "We should really talk. It's great." And Leland once gave my son Chase a shout out for his drumming, I think he was doing either Boss Skaggs, it might have been Lido Shuffle or Lowdown, or it could have been a Toto song. That was nice of him though. But he never gets back to me. Great drummer, yes. Bruce, is it Garay or is it Gary? I don't know why I'm remembering that. Bo Johnson, yeah. I used to have a nickname in high school. Some of my close friends, not a lot of people, we used to call me JB John. And they go, "That's your radio name." I'm going, "That sounds ridiculous." But they would call me JB John. And I said, "That should be your radio name." And I'm going, "I don't want a radio name." Oh, Guy. Okay. I watched Nick Gilder open for Peter Gabriel. Really? Oh, the audience booed him. I'm friends with Nick Gilder on Facebook. I've only talked to him a few times. We were going to do an interview. The thing about interviews, most of the time the interviews that I set up happen. But now and then, some of them don't go anywhere. Like Aldo Nova, he wanted to know who I was. He said, "Okay, sure, I've got a new album. Let's do an interview." by the way, who are you? Just so that I know who I'm talking to. And I sent him, you know, a bio and stuff, you know, the bio that's in all my videos. And he never got back to me. So maybe he wasn't impressed. I don't know. Or he got sidetracked. Was Dwayne met Nick Gilder? I hope he was nice. He seems like a nice guy. London Calling, one of the greatest albums of all time, was not a fan of that band. You know, the Clash and all that kind of punky bands, I was not. I mean, I remember going through a time where I'd hear London Calling, and I'm going, you know, but never been a big fan. Who on band Michael Jackson Thriller album? I'm not sure what you mean. I've interviewed a lot of people who are on Thriller. John J.R. Robinson was not on Thriller because he was touring with Glenn Frey, but he was on the other ones. Yeah, I interviewed a few people who, of course, the Toto guys, Steve Porcaro, Bruce Sedano. I think there was a song or two that he. I'm getting tired. Now I got to do a radio show. Now I got to do a radio show. Yeah, we were just talking about Aldo Nova. I didn't like the Stray Cats, that rockabilly kind of. And don't get me wrong, I played Stray Cats on the radio, and it was fun. But it's not music I would ever buy, like ever. It's just not my kind of thing. Okay, a few more questions, and we're gonna wrap it up. Man Cal, like the DJ. Talk about the DJ. I like loose drumming too. Aldo Nova. We're all West End Girls. Just the way it comes in, it's kind of ominous. Doom doom. You know, there's just something about that song. My wife Shannon's a huge. Well, she's 10 years younger than me. 11 actually, almost 11. So she was a child of the 80s, right? Thank you for hanging out, Hayes Anderson. Sounds like a radio name. Hayes. Are you a detective or a radio guy? Or Hayes? Is that for Hazel? I'm not sure if you're male or female. Well, I talked to Steve Luke last week, and we were going to. I texted him. When usually you're not supposed to do that, but I've kind of known Luke for a little while, so that I can at least get a hold of him. So I texted him on his cell phone, and he got back to me right away. He always does, and he says, "Yeah, let's get something to do. Let's get something going with Joe." And so we're going to try to get it done. With Luke, though, you got to kind of remind him a little bit, you know. She looks younger than you, lucky dog. Yeah. You talking about Shannon? Shannon never ages. Hold on. You want to see Shannon with big hair? I've showed people this picture before. There's Shannon. This is her big hair days. That's some mighty big hair. She has, of course, she was running for Miss Penticton there. She did the modeling thing for a few years, but she wasn't tall enough. She's 5'9". And she found it fun. They partied a lot. Toto's live stream was amazing. I was so impressed by it. I was so impressed by the band. Really impressed. Someone asked me a while ago, when's the last time I talked to Steve Porcaro? A few months ago. Yeah. I always like to keep in contact with him. He's a nice guy. He's a good human being. But I don't pick sides in the Toto fight. I won't do that. Do you like Kiss? I used to. Thoughts on the new Genesis tour? I don't know if it's going to happen. Now with the vaccine, I'm slowly kind of maybe changing my mind. COVID's not really affected me because I've worked out of my home since I stopped becoming. When I was let go, I wasn't fired or anything. It was just like the license was over, a 5-year license for that station, California 103, the clock there, the clock that never moves. They gave me a fairly good severance package, pretty good, and at one point I came up to the people at the company. New Cap was the company. They've sold it to Stingray now. And I said, guys, I know you're going to let me go once this license is over because you're going to probably change the format. And I'm so associated with this format. Listen, I'll stay here. I'll run the station till the end. You guys let me know when it's time to go and, treat me well and we'll all be good. They went, oh, no. And they couldn't tell me. They go, oh, no, I'm sure we can't really say anything. I'm going, guys, it doesn't matter. I know you can't talk. But I'm just saying, let's not be uncomfortable. I'm kind of starting to get burnt out. I don't think I want to run another radio station. So let's do that. And then near the end, they treated me really well. So I've worked out of my home since then. And it's like 11, 12 years now. I've worked out of my home. I do my radio show for Vancouver right here, which I'm going to do in 15 minutes. Night Ranger. Yeah, I tried to get an interview with them a few years ago. It never panned out. Love your show. Thank you, M. Howell. I think it's $1.99 or $99. Yeah, Elton John laid off they were on retainer, right? That's what happens with musicians like that. They put them on retainer so they can keep them so they don't go off and do other things. Elton John will go out. He'll go out again. He seems like he's pretty healthy. Excuse me. Phil Collins is not. So I'm not sure. Someone asked me a couple of days ago, would you like to interview Phil Collins? And going, oh, you connected to him? Yes. Toto is a band. What? Toto is a band of war. Oh, you mean the infighting? Hayes. Ravi Shankar performance of Monterey Puff stole the show. I interviewed Ravi Shankar when he was 87. I interviewed Dave Brubeck when he was 87. I think I interviewed them. Oh, God, ask me tomorrow. I'll say a month apart. I don't remember, but pretty close. I was living with Shannon's sister while we were moving from Vancouver to Calgary. And Shannon was setting up home here, and I was still in Vancouver. And I interviewed Ravi Shankar. There's the interview, part one of the interview is on here, but the sound quality is so bad because it was on a small little cassette with a landline, and there's a buzz of the phone on there. And Dave Brubeck, the same thing. At the end of Ravi Shankar interview, he says, bless you, John. I went, oh, I've just been blessed by Ravi Shankar. George was dead. We talked about George dying. Anyway, there you go. Okay, guys. This was so much fun. And I thought to myself, I got to put a video out today, and I just was so busy. And we have people around us that are quite ill, not in this house, but George and Ravi Shankar were the light. Yeah. Yeah. UFO, I interviewed Michael Schenker. And Michael, and any relation to Michael? No relation. Michael was a little, he was a little grumpy on the phone. He couldn't hear me, in his thick German accent. He kept saying, I can't hear you, and I went, I'm sorry. I don't know why you can't hear me. And he says, well, I'm just going to do my thing. I'm just going to do my thing. And so he talked for 5 minutes straight. And there's one, it's on the channel. Look up Michael Schenker, John Beaudin, Rock History Music. The clip is on here. We put it on. But I only got 5 minutes. I got a 5 minute. Well, the whole conversation lasted 10, but we couldn't use most of it because I don't blame him. He was angry. He was nice enough to give me, his time. So we tried. And we interviewed Uli John Roth around the same time too. So anyway, the clock ran out. Yeah, it makes noise. That's what one of the sorest points of working for the company New Cap, when I was with them, as much as I came up to them and said, guys, I know that, you're going to change formats when the license runs out after 5 years, and I'm the program director of this station, and I'm the morning guy. You're going to want to sweep and clean house. When I got my 5-year, they gave me this freaking clock for working for them for 5 years and being the program director almost 3 years for them. That's what they gave me, a clock that's worth $10 or probably less. They probably got it for less. That was my 5-year. That's one of the sorest things. I remember going, wow, really? But I stayed with them. held my head up, and they gave me a nice pile of money when it was time to leave, and it was amicable at that point. But now and then I'll look at that clock, and I've been with Bell Media for 25 years, but technically, before Bell Media bought CTV and CTV bought Chum, I've been with the station I'm at, with the company, since 1990. So a long time. Yeah, it's been a long run. It's rare in radio to be with one station for that long. I'm so grateful. I'm very grateful. And I'm the only person at my current station that was there when I joined up. They're all gone. But it's revolving doors in radio. So I'm very, very lucky. And they're good people, and they treat me really well. And it's just a great company. So there you go. Cheers, D. Cheers. Okay, guys. I got to go. I sorry to put my finger on here. But I will end this now. Talk to you real soon. Remember, lots of videos coming out next week. Hang in there. Hope you're not sick. Wear a mask.